Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Suzerain, a choose-your-own-adventure visual novel strategy game in a fictional Cold War in a fictional country, playing as a fictional president. I don't know why I say that every episode, but I just enjoy saying it. It's kind of like all these things stacked on top of each other. I'm really enjoying this series. This is a great game of storytelling and sort of giving you some wheeling and dealing and things to think about as being a political leader of a complex nation dealing with many problems. Speaking of problems, in our last episode, we had to deal with a sort of rogue governor in a semi-autonomous province oppressing a religious minority and an ethnic minority group. And we had a meeting with both the sort of basically the quasi-fascists and the reformists within the country to come to some sort of accord on how to deal with that. And so we did make some decisions, and interestingly enough, the reformists and the nationalists both agreed with each other on the approach to move forward. In today's episode, we're going to be dealing with some privatization. We've got some major decisions to make about some companies that are owned by the state that could potentially raise some additional revenue for us, but we've also made political promises that say we will not do more privatization, so we'll see how that plays out. With that being said, guys, this was taken from my Twitch live stream. If you are interested in joining those, there's a link in the description, and without further ado, let's get going. What do we got here? Requested meeting of Lucien Galde. Sure. He arrived on time as usual and took a seat right across from me. You look a bit tired. Are you getting enough sleep? Don't push yourself too much, Lucien. I booked some of your time to pre-plan for today's meeting. But before going into the economic direction, I want to give you some status updates. After you and Miss Klubner made your statement supporting the Souls constitutionalism, the Supreme Court prioritized the case and quickly announced a verdict. It was very clever of you to use Soulism against them. They couldn't afford to look like hypocrites, so they must have moved on very quickly. The court ruled that Felix Braun is to be relieved from his position as governor for abusing his powers to discriminate against Sordish citizens. He's banned from serving in any political position in the future and will be charged with a fine of 5 million Sordish Ren. The resettlement policies of Bergia are ruled to be unconstitutional and have been revoked. However, the court has also rejected Erzan's arguments about the Constitution, ruling that all citizens of Sordland are swords regardless of ethnicity, and are completely equal before the law. The results received a mixed response from the Bluish community. Activist radicals and BFF sympathizers have condemned the ruling, however the majority seem to recognize that justice has been served. What more do these activists want? They only want to see the bad side of everything. Maybe Sol wasn't so wrong about his policies. As long as we can ride the aftermath of these results to our advantage, the fringe of Bluish society won't matter for us. They can't affect the vote too much. There is one important detail. The seat of governor of Bergia must be filled. Normally, the president appoints the governor. I'm afraid, despite Miss Morgana's protests, the court decided to take a completely different route on this. Mr. Hawker argued that a premature departure of a governor during their term is an exceptional case. They ruled the deputy governor Braun will assume his position until the end of the term. Mr. Kilbner might have played you, unfortunately. The deputy in question, Mr. Krull, is a member of the NFP. I'm afraid the courts delivered Bergia straight into the NFP's hands. This is very bad news. What do we do now? Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. Luckily, Mr. Krull will not be able to resume any of his predecessors' unconstitutional activities. Of course, giving such a powerful position to a far-right nationalist is very concerning. Luckily, Mrs. Graf is already working on the revocation of the special zone in Bergia. We still may be able to get rid of Mr. Krull that way. However, there might be a problem with its timing. It would likely be ready after the vote for the amendments. If the vote succeeds, as we've been working for, your limited decree powers won't be enough to enact a change this grand. I'm afraid you won't be able to enact this change without the approval of the Assembly in that scenario. It'll be very hard to convince them to revoke the special zone, but with Mr. Braun, an important fundraiser for the USP, gone, the party might be willing to move against Governor Krull. I'm sure we can find a way to convince the party by then. For now, let's return back to the real reason we're here. We need to be cautious. Any grand plans about the economy also heavily influence our political standing. We would be changing our relationships with the old guard, the oligarchs, and the opposition. As you know, this meeting will give you the opportunity to alter the ownership of the Big Four, the largest corporations in all of Sordland. We can start the process of nationalization or privatization, or we can just keep the status quo. Again, I remind you that any change will tip the already fragile balance. I personally think we should stay out of this and keep things as they are. There's no need to make new political enemies at this stage in our term. Ultimately, the decision is yours. We also told the head of our party we would not privatize Gaius. So in order to get our constitutional amendments, we promised that we wouldn't privatize. The economy is actually like tilted up. Are you looking up spoilers so that I don't collapse into utter ruin? I'm assuming if we agree to privatize these companies, that includes SSC. I'm not nationalizing. Nationalizing would be bad. A choice. We did promise to privatize in our so what we promised our head was we wouldn't privatize healthcare or the SSC, right? But what else would we privatize? What corporations? I don't know. Let's do it. Our campaign promise was privatization, so if we want to improve our relations with the West, we need to privatize our economy. Privatization will help bring the country out of recession. That's true. Lespasia would look very favorably on such changes in an upcoming negotiation. Arcasia would see it as a positive step toward membership in the ATO. One thing to remember is that since you've been transparent about promoting a market economy, privatization will not cost us much support. Unfortunately, we've missed our government budget targets for the quarter. The plan to change the ownership of the important assets could help us generate much needed resources to further improve economic development before the next election. Okay. How are we not in good terms with the oligarchs? Every time I've met with them, they've been happy. Okay. I mean, we did refuse the bribes. I received a call from Marcel. He wanted me to leave Haas untouched. Said I'd think about it. He also wants me to give him the shares to lower Tusk's influence. Okay. Tensions keep rising. Mixed reaction and protests against the Supreme Court decision. BFF threatens attacks against President Rayne and Queso Kibner. Well, we should probably arrest them then, right? Curl assumes office. CSP launches their first spy satellites. WPB condemns the Supreme Court. Ownership changes of major corporations. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Ministry of the Economy. Without further ado, we're of course here to discuss our economic shift toward privatization. Mr. President, before you arrived, Mikhail and Edith were expressing their delight at your decision to go down this path. Wonderful news, I'd say. I'm glad we're staying firmly on the path to a market economy. This was certainly the right decision. It will boost our economy by providing the government much needed funds right now. We can then use those funds to increase development for the future. It's a win-win situation for sure. I'm glad we're on the same page. Let's move on to how we can go about implementing a privatization plan. Please turn to page 6. As you can see on the document, the first company up for discussion is the Sordland State Corporation. The Sordland State Corporation, or SSC for short, has been around for over half a century. Most recently, they've been handling a wide range of state construction projects. In their portfolio, they have government buildings, various infrastructure projects, state libraries, embassies, basically anything government related. Privatizing a company like this would certainly increase the government's budget. That, of course, would result in lots of opportunities for us to provide for our citizens. The funds could also be used to boost our popularity, especially with the elections approaching. Not to mention various other areas in where we can and should spend money. However, there's one catch. The conservative majority of the USP would not like this decision at all. For them, these state companies are part and parcel of the Sordland identity. If we privatize these companies entirely and sell too many shares in them, it'll have consequences for us in the assembly. I already know what to do. Let's move on to the next option. I'm not going to privatize SSC. I can't. Needham Mining Group. It's one of the largest mining corporations in Eastern Maricopa, let alone Sordland. They call themselves the leaders of the world in coal. They certainly have enough evidence to back that up. Perhaps they're not as large as SSC, but we still have a lot to gain if Needham Group is privatized. I fully support privatization of this company to add to any extent. Certainly a good option to gain enough capital to end the recession once and for all. I have contacts in Needham. It's one of the most valuable corporations of the last decade. I can vouch for that. I have personal experience with the company myself. It would be a great addition to any portfolio. What would be the effects if we fully privatize them? I know many people who would kill to have a portion of that company. I do think it's a good option. We could simply fully privatize Needham along with SSC to bring in a large influx of money to the government. Mr. President, I hate to repeat myself, but fully privatizing one state company, let alone two, will anger our conservative voter base. All the budget in the world won't matter if you aren't reelected. What are your thoughts on selling a minority share? Coupled with a minority share of SSC, that's the way to go. What about selling a majority share? Give us the most value. I think we should go this choice. Ready to make a decision. Sordland State Corporation, we can do majority share owned, minority share owned, fully privatized, fully state owned. We'll keep SSC fully state owned. That was our promise to our party. Needham, we will fully privatize, I guess. So, this is the path we're taking. I want to thank you, Mr. President. This decision will revitalize our economy. Let's hope so. Why would I lose Gloria Tori's support? I didn't privatize the SSC, which was what my promise was. God damn it. I'm confused. Sometimes what you agree to and what the game results are not in sync sometimes. Results of the economic direction or decision. Privatization process had begun and I expected Sordland's 2 prominent oligarchs to speak to me about it. Lucien showed me Marcel Corntani and Walter Tusk into the conference room. Maroon 30-year-old. Thanks for the gift. A set of car keys. Jesus Christ, you guys. I can't take this. Whatever you want, bribery won't work. Come on, vroom vroom. Vroom, 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 vroom. The president's driving. So Mr. Tusk, Mr. Corntani, President Rayne is about to sell private shares in the Nita Mining Group. You both clearly are more skilled at business than you are subterfuge. Okay. If I win, I will win on my own strength. I will topple this old man. You little snake. You're 20 years early to be the head of Lothberg Group. I made this group what it is. The shares will go insider trading +1. Get the cash. You suggest the deal with Marcel be honored? I'm more worried about who he's going to influence in the assembly if I don't give him the votes. I feel like we're going to lose all the support. But we did make an agreement with Marcel. I didn't do this last time, so I don't really know. I didn't accept bribes from either of them last time. So I guess Marcel, just to honor our agreement. What? Haven't you heard a word of what I said? Well, we'll see what happens now. Oh, did I get a car? Did I still get the car? Drive-by shooting, privatization of the mining group. Rumberg informs of whistleblower's escape. Rumberg has informed us about an escaped whistleblower headed to Sordland. They've prematurely requested the extradition of any whistleblower from Rumberg. If they are to be found, Shelton Hailstone said the whistleblower is reported to possess highly sensitive information about a covert weapons program. Queen Beatrice Livingston, I presume? Administration has demanded the immediate return of Hailstone, considering his defection as a breach of trust between our two nations. Marcel is the new head of the Oligarchs. Need a mining group bought by Marcel. Presidential approval ratings conducted by chief strategists state we have landed below 25%. Yikes. We got 2 more cash though. Nope. No unified language bill. Fuck that. It didn't even read the bill. Just like, get the hell out of here. Vetoed. Assembly vote on the constitutional changes. Do we even hear like we never got an update. Surge was driving me toward the Grand National Assembly for today's historic vote. I wondered whether my attempt at changing the Constitution would end differently than Alfonso. I looked out the window at the noise of the city diminished and saw that there was already inside the palace complex. Okay. Are you okay back there, sir? Hey, Surge, I'm okay. How are you? Good as I can be. Did you know that Mr. Tarquin Sol came to Holsword this morning? I heard some politicians talking about it today. Apparently this is the first time he's come to the city in the last 5 years. Oh shit. That's great. Maybe I'll meet him. Slow down, Serge. Are you sure? Yeah, I overheard some men talking about it. Could just be rumors, of course. Most likely. I doubt that. Thank you, Serge. Sir, there you are. Have you seen Vice President Vectorn? He's nowhere to be found. Just arrived, Lucien. At any rate, how about yourself? Lucien, I've just heard some worrying news from Serge. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We will soon begin with today's agenda of the USP's proposed changes to the Constitution. According to the current Constitution, constitutional amendments require a 2/3 majority in order to reach the Assembly. If the vote succeeds, the proposal will be sent to the Supreme Court. The proposal in question includes 3 points. First section of the changes. Article 57 is modified with the following. Section 2, paragraph 36. May not exercise his right to the Justice of the Supreme Court. A simple majority is considered. It felt like an attorney had passed. Finally, she finished reading the changes. I hereby invite you all to vote. Go down to the hall where the MPs are, sit back down and keep watching. For Sordland, I'm expecting your votes. I'm not enough of a dictator to... Go to the hall where all the MPs are. Mr. President, how are you feeling about the vote? Very positive. Good to hear. I'm sure we'll get through this. I'll go vote now. See you afterwards. Mr. President, I'm sorry I didn't see you there. I wish you good luck with the vote. Excuse me. Who the hell is this guy? Sir, did you vote yet? We have to be quick. What's the rush? Mr. President, we may have a problem. Tarquin's soul is here. I know. We have to accelerate the voting process. We need everybody to vote as soon as possible. We don't know what he's capable of right now, but if the assembly members see him, he might influence them against the proposal. Should I talk to him? I would advise against that right now. The assembly must focus on the vote. Any confrontation between the two of you would draw attention away. Go ask Laura to speed up the voting. Sir, what do we do? Either ignore him or leave him be. I'll go talk to him. I don't know if I did that last time. Good day, Mr. Calvin. Remember, I promised Calvin the vice president seat. Did you cast your vote? It will. Just shut up, Peter. It's not over, Peter, yet. Don't jump to conclusions. We did it! It wasn't even close! We cleared it by 229 votes. The Grand National Assembly has surpassed a 2/3 majority and accepted the changes to the Constitution. We needed 150 votes, we got 179. The proposal will be presented to the Supreme Court shortly for final voting procedure. The Assembly roared with all kinds of different reactions. Yes! We did it! Oh, the NFP for sure helped us, Mill. I mean, they said they would vote for us. So, we definitely went down the right-wing route of getting their support. Hell yeah, we did! Tarquin's soul! Call out to him? What am I going to call out to him? The faithful and selfless servant of our nation, the distinguished face of our republic, Colonel Tarquin Soul. Mr. Soul, welcome to the assembly. Former President Soul, nice of you to join us. I see no reason not to give him his honors. After all, we won. You all want to go with 3? Nah, man. We gotta win over the old guards. We gotta give a little bit of feting to the soulless. Congratulations, Mr. Rayne. He looked at me. Congratulations, Mr. Rayne. Let's enjoy the victory for now. Sure, let's do it. Soul was here to sabotage us, but we were a young sword and a soulist and a loyal follower of his, so. Hey, cool, we got car keys to our super fast car. All these little things. Okay, so news. Constitutional changes passed by the Assembly. Was it Tarquin Soul who abstained? Okay. Today marked the biggest win of Anton Rayne's term as the Assembly approved his proposal for reforming the Swordish Constitution. The surprise presence of Tarquin Soul at the proceedings shifted the required number of votes from 166 to a 2/3 majority. Still, Rayne's new amendment passed with flying colors. I thought we only needed 150, but either way, we cleared it by 13. Keebner congratulates the president. New constitution passes the assembly. Countess is surprised. In spite of heavy opposition and a special appearance from the old man Tarquin Soul himself, President Rayne actually managed to get his constitutional reforms past the assembly. We've been advocating for a change to Soul's dusty constitution for years, although it's doubtful the changes Rayne is advocating are the same as those we have in mind. Even if Rayne decides to come down on the side of democracy and fairness, getting a proposal like this past Gloria Tori's gavel must have required a great deal of compromise, and getting approval for the Supreme Court will require even more. Meeting on the results of the assembly vote. Lucien, Peter, and I convened on the massive balcony of the palace. It was nice to catch a breeze in the increasing summer heat. Both had grins on their faces, but Peter's got larger as he kept recounting on our success in the assembly. Fellas, the first obstacle has been cleared. Congratulations to all of us. Great job, gentlemen. What about Tarquin Soul? Did you see him again? As far as I know, he's still staying in Holsword, but hasn't cared to pay his respects to President Rayne yet. What the hell was that all about anyway, appearing out of nowhere? He came to the assembly to make a statement, but we still won the vote. I'm sorry that we failed to warn you he would be attending, Mr. President. We should have been informed about his arrival. I learned it from Surge. How come my driver knows more than you? It's all good. In situations just such as this, I would have expected Carl to report it to me, but it's no excuse. What's done is done. Let's not linger on the past. Now that the Council of Grumpy Old Men is in our way, I have to say that a fitting description of the court, but unfortunately for us, they're more than that. They're our largest obstacle yet. Also, you're forgetting Mrs. Emmons. They're not all grumpy old men. And Miss Morgana is technically a member too. Wait, did you just call Nia a grumpy old woman? Anyway, about the court. Miss Morgana has been reluctant to help with the lobbying of the court, but she has accepted to at least try and convince the justices to organize a meeting with us, which means our lobbying efforts have not yet borne fruit. It'll be up to you, you and Miss Morgana. Nia's pretty adamant about her position on this against this proposal. That's already one vote lost. So she's serious about voting against the proposal? Not to make it sound more depressing, but it's not only about her. Let's not forget about Mr. Hawker and his loyalists. That's 4 or 5 votes gone right from the start. We need to reach out to the old guard and the moderates in order to reach 6 votes. There's not much leeway. You think we can do it? We've come this far. Anything's possible. We may need to take some extreme measures, though. The court still sees us as a threat. They'll not be persuaded so easily. If the justice fails at this stage, I'm sure the people will see who they really are. In any case, we should start our best. I already asked Nia to arrange a meeting with Miss Edmonds. She's willing to speak with you. That's a good start. It was Kessero Kerbner. Here you are, the most dangerous men in the Maroon Palace. Afternoon, Mr. Kerbner. Damn right, we're dangerous. Now cue the Russell Wilson subway commercial. I'm dangerous. Look at your daughters. Oh my god. We'll figure it out, Mr. Kerbner. I respect the man, but he's overestimating himself. He's just playing the hero, sir, the honorable sword against all odds. I think it's time to conclude our little meeting. David Vesky's calling about the upcoming foreign policy meeting. Perfect. Tell him I'll be right there. I need a drink. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap this up here. I don't know, we did some stuff, right? We won the vote. So now we got to deal with the Supreme Court, but that'll be for another time. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.